Hey, Rich and Marion Patterson with Winding Pathways and Kelsey Spots with Hoover's Hatchery behind the camera on a pretty warm July summer day. We've got some chickens wandering around. We've got a couple crowing, 1 and 2 in the nest here and on the roost. And we're talking today about downsizing. If you remember, back in the winter time, egg prices went soaring, and a lot of people said, oh, we'll just buy some chickens and raise our own chickens. And then they discovered a few things. So maybe they want to downsize the flock that they have. So we're talking about that. And Rich, what are some reasons people would want to downsize?
Oh, there are lots of reasons. And one of them you alluded to just now, that, okay, you're new at this, you thought this is a great idea, we're going to buy some chicks and build a coop, and now it's 6 months later and you just, it's just not fitting with the family, so we need to shut this down. That's one reason. Hopefully that doesn't happen very often, but we were an example of another reason 2 years ago. We had relatives on the coast who needed our help. They were ill, and we had to leave and go help them. We didn't know how long we'd be gone, and that makes it tough with chickens. Our neighbors are great. Neighbors will come over if we're gone for 4 days or a week, but with an unknown time. So we had to close down the coop for personal reasons and clear it out. And after we did that, we got rid of the chickens, and to me it was a very sad time, because I go into the coop and it was quiet, no activity, and I just didn't like it. So that's a second time. The third is that after a while, hens get old and they don't lay much.
Well, how long do chickens usually lay?
A hen can lay for many, many years, even upwards of 10, but she'll lay a lot in her first lay cycle, when she's a year to a year and a half, 6 months to a year and a half old.
Right.
Second lay cycle pretty well, and then from there on it's going to drop off. So time she's 3, 4, or 5 years old, if you want to get many eggs, you're going to have to get some younger birds.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and here's our rooster right there coming on up, and I see what you mean about those feathers there. We had a neighbor with a chicken called Samantha, and I remember helping Samantha and feeding her and all that, and once in a blue moon I would get an egg, but not very often. Samantha was with us, I think, from my 4th grade year up until I graduated from high school. So yeah, they live a long, long time, don't they?
Yes, they just don't lay much when they get old.
So we were talking about downsizing, and sometimes family lifestyle doesn't work, or you need to go somewhere for extended times. Other reasons.
There is one other reason, and let's say that you've had barred rocks for a couple of years, and you think, ooh.
I'm pausing. Go ahead.
Hey, Rich and Marion Patterson with Winding Pathways and Kelsey Spots with Hoover's Hatchery behind the camera on a pretty warm July summer day. We've got some chickens wandering around. We've got a couple crowing, 1 and 2 in the nest here and on the roost. And we're talking today about downsizing. If you remember, back in the winter time, egg prices went soaring, and a lot of people said, oh, we'll just buy some chickens and raise our own chickens. And then they discovered a few things. So maybe they want to downsize the flock that they have. So we're talking about that. And Rich, what are some reasons people would want to downsize?
Oh, there are lots of reasons. And one of them you alluded to just now, that, okay, you're new at this, you thought this is a great idea, we're going to buy some chicks and build a coop, and now it's 6 months later and you just, it's just not fitting with the family, so we need to shut this down. That's one reason. Hopefully that doesn't happen very often, but we were an example of another reason 2 years ago. We had relatives on the coast who needed our help. They were ill, and we had to leave and go help them. We didn't know how long we'd be gone, and that makes it tough with chickens. Our neighbors are great. Neighbors will come over if we're gone for 4 days or a week, but with an unknown time. So we had to close down the coop for personal reasons and clear it out. And after we did that, we got rid of the chickens, and to me it was a very sad time, because I go into the coop and it was quiet, no activity, and I just didn't like it. So that's a second time. The third is that after a while, hens get old and they don't lay much.
Well, how long do chickens usually lay?
A hen can lay for many, many years, even upwards of 10, but she'll lay a lot in her first lay cycle when she's a year to a year and a half, 6 months to a year and a half old.
Right.
Second lay cycle pretty well, and then from there on, it's going to drop off. So, time she's 3, 4, or 5 years old, if you want to get many eggs, you're going to have to get some younger birds.
Okay. Yeah. So we've talked about downsizing in terms of it just doesn't fit with the lifestyle, or we need to move, and hens getting pretty old. I told you this story about Samantha. She's pretty great. There are a couple other reasons that we might want to downsize. What are they?
Well, another reason is you get tired. You've had barred rocks, say, for several years, and they've been great, but, I want to try Easter eggers, or I want to try Rhode Island Reds, or something different. So then you need to clear out those barred rocks.
All right,
so
and
you can get the others.
The question is, how do I do it? Because I don't want to butcher the chicken, although I understand there are a lot of YouTube videos that show how to process the meat, but what are other ways that I can take my great hens, I love them, but I want different ones? What do I do?
We should first back up a little bit to eating hens. And through all of the hundreds and hundreds of years that there have been people around chickens, people have slaughtered those old hens and eaten them. And they are very good. They're different than the meat you buy in the store.
Absolutely.
That hen is going to be tough, but very flavorful. If you are inclined to slaughter those good friends you've had, and if it's legal, you can still do it.
Okay.
That is one way to do it. Most people would not choose to downsize that
So
way.
if we don't want to actually do the butchering and such, but I do want different chickens, or I need to dispose chickens, what do I do?
Well, there are a number of ways to get your chickens homed in somebody else's flock.
All right, and how do I do it?
So we found it works very well to put a note up on social media. Say, I have 5 hens that are 2.5 years old, and there's a barred rock, and there's a white Jersey giant, and there's a buff Worthington, and invariably within about 2 days I have 8 calls from people who want to come. We sell them. We don't give them away, but I sell them at a very nominal price, $2.
Couple of bucks a piece, yeah.
Yes. So that is one way. Another way you can do it is to just generally know who has chickens in the area. Okay, so get to know those people, and then if you need to get rid of a couple of hens, give them a call. Hey, would you like a couple of barred rocks? And often they will. You can also contact your town's animal control people, because they would know who has chickens. People where you have to have a permit to have chickens, the town would have a list of those people, and you could just give them a call to see if they would take some.
So we've already talked about not moving animals when it's super hot, and this summer has been pretty hot in Iowa. So what are ways, let's say I've got a good lead on somebody who wants my chickens, person's going to come at 2 o'clock this afternoon, but it's going to be 90 degrees. What would we do there?
Heat kills chickens.
Right. So what do I do?
Heat kills them. And in order to move the chickens from our coop to somebody else's coop, you have to do it at the right time, and you have to catch them. Okay.
That would be a thing.
Catch them. So the right time is when it's cool. Okay?
All right.
Meaning 9 months of the year it's cool enough. You could do it pretty much any time of the year. In the summer, you would not want people to come at 1 in the afternoon when it's 95 degrees. And you get them all riled up catching them, and then you put them in a box, and it's hot in there. And when they get to the new house, they've got dead chickens.
Right. So what do I do if I need to get my chickens done? Wow, that one's loud. So what do we do?
If it's the summer and you have to move them, you do it at night.
At nighttime. Okay.
Generally, it's better to change chickens' lives at night anyway. But move them at night, it's cooler then. and then they're all sleeping, you know, and they're not immediately confronted with newcomers.
Okay, all right. So we have some equipment here, and normally we would show actually how to catch. However, not today because it is hot, but we've got the equipment, and I think we've done a short blog for Hoover's Hatchery on catching a chicken. But show us what you've got here, Rich.
Okay, first I get everything ready.
Yep.
And usually we're moving a small number, maybe 6 or so. So I have my containers ready, and you can move chickens. This is just a woodchuck raccoon trap. It's caught lots of raccoons over the years, but you can catch the chicken, put maybe three of them in here.
Okay.
Until they get across town. You know? Not having that, a cardboard box works.
Okay, now what are these slots here for?
Just to get a little air
Okay, because you're going to cover the top, right?
Yes.
So they don't
and
fly out, but they need to be able to breathe. Okay.
in some ways, a box is better because it's dark in there. And if it's dark, they're more likely to be quiet.
Yes,
So
it's not dark enough for that chicken. That's
this would be good for maybe two
chickens.
large hens.
All right, well, let's
Okay.
take a look here. Yeah, it's pretty deep. It's got the vent holes here, and from here to this, it's about half the length. Okay, so how am I going to catch these chickens?
Okay, well, the very best way to catch a chicken, to get rid of it, or just to examine it, is to go out well after dark. Okay, when they're on the roost, they're comatose, you know, and you can go right up. These little headlights are helpful sometimes, or with a flashlight. You can go up and just grab it by the wings so they can't flap. Bring it in, put it in here. It helps to have two people, one to open the door and one to put the chicken in.
Right.
Okay? So that's by far the best way to catch a chicken. Okay? If you do it during the day, chickens can run fast. They can outrun me. And if you watch a chicken run, they can go like this, lickety split, and then make a right angle like that. I mean, they're just evasive as hell. But you can catch them. This is a fishing net, you know, to scoop a bass or a northern pike out of the water. But it works great for catching chickens. Out here, where they're in a big run, that would be hard. When they're in the coop, sort of confined, you can just get it ahead of them. I don't think they even pay any attention to the mesh. They just try to run right in there. So a good handy piece of equipment to have around chickens, even if you're not moving them, is a landing net. And that way, if one gets loose out there, you got a little better chance of catching it.
That's pretty cool.
So I keep the landing net
Right up there.
right here. So it's handy.
Pretty cool. And also, I noticed that Rich will close the pop hole doors. The chickens he wants to move, he will close the pop hole door, because if you go in and the door's open, out they goes, and then there you are. So that's pretty cool. Is there anything else on downsizing, moving chickens that you want to share before we go to the tip of the month?
The only thing I would add is you've had a group of chickens for a while. They're all gone now. You're going to get some new Hoover's chicks coming in soon. This is a really great time to get in and thoroughly clean that coop. You know, dig out all the old litter, sweep as much as you can, mist it down with a little bleach solution, get it really, really clean, let it dry out, and then put some new wood chips down, and then be ready to go for the new ones.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. And we do have usually a tip of the month, and Rich has a pretty good thought on telling the difference between males and female chickens when they're teeny weeny up to being bigger.
When you get chicks that come from Hoover's, they have an expert person there who can look at each baby chick and tell whether it's a girl or a boy.
And it's hard to do, by the way, because these chicks are tiny, and their parts where you examine are tinier.
Most people, including me, can't tell the difference when they're that small. Okay, so Hoover's guarantees if you buy females hens, they guarantee that. But once in a while, this expert misses the boat. Okay, so once in a great while, you might have a rooster chick in there.
It happens.
So how do you tell? Well, when a chicken is mature, it's easy as can be. A rooster tends to have a big comb. They strut around. They crow a lot. You know, they're big. But when they're this big, they're 6, 7, 8 weeks old. It's hard to tell. But there are 3 things that you can look for to tell whether this is indeed a rooster.
Okay.
Let's say you have 25 barred rocks, and they're supposed to all be females. But at a young age, one of them is growing its comb a little bit more, and the wattles down here. That could be a rooster.
Keep talking while I go back here and tell her to be quiet.
Another way that you can tell is, we've heard our rooster crowing here, and hens don't crow. Once in a while they make kind of a hoarse sound, but they don't crow. So if it's a chick 10 weeks old and it's starting to crow, it's probably a rooster. But the surefire way of telling is hens almost never grow saddle hackles. And saddle hackles are the hackles that come off a rooster just in front of its tail and behind its wing. And they're very pretty. They're usually real colorful and they're long. Hens don't grow them. So if you're seeing saddle hackles and you're hearing a hoarse crow and the comb is, well, that's probably a rooster. And that's our tip of the month.
Just call me the chicken whisperer. She's quiet. I don't know why, but she is. So I hope you could hear about the tip of the month while she was out there making a big racket. And we're going to show you also pictures of Doodoo the Rooster with those hackles that Rich talked about. So I think that's it for today from Hoover's Hatchery, Kelsey behind the camera, and Rich and Marion Patterson with Winding Pathways. Thanks for coming, and we'll catch up with you in August.